Welcome back to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. To be part of our super community and find out more about Eliances, visit www.Eliances.com. Now, back to our super host, David Kogan, founder of Eliances.
What an amazing morning it has been. That's right, this is David Kogan with Eliances Heroes. Remember, these are heroes that know no roadblocks. They take risk towards building the community. And this morning we had Sheriff Joe Arpaio, Maricopa County's America's toughest sheriff. And then we had the president of a trade source, Mary Ellen Rosinski. And we had another hero representing Arizona and the United States as ambassadors of goodwill, Don Ortiz with DEO Entertainment. And our last hero for this morning, well, she really needs no introduction, because if you know anything about business and starting a business, you will definitely have known who she works for. She is the managing editor-in-chief for Entrepreneur Magazine, Amy Cosper. Good morning, Amy.
Good morning, David. How are you?
Oh, I am so excited to have you on the air. How long have you been the editor-in-chief at Entrepreneur Magazine?
I've been here almost 7 years, so, kind of one of the longest gigs of my life, honestly.
And you are the queen of entrepreneurship. You have your pulse on it probably more than anyone else. So I got to ask, what do you see as the top 3 things that make a business successful?
That's a tricky question because there are a lot of directions we could go with this. But, the main thing I always tell people, and by the way, this is an unscientific response. These are just my observations on a cocktail napkin. The number one thing that will determine your success is your ability to articulate what you stand for, your brand. And you need to be able to do it in 3 sentences or less. There has to be a clarity of vision, and that goes for companies that are in accelerated growth mode, and also for startups. Like that vision, the core of what you stand for, and leading your team. That is the number one barometer for success, in my opinion. Like everything else is below that, by several different rungs.
And again, we've got Amy Cosper. You can reach her by going to Entrepreneur.com. And Amy, with more startups being created than ever before, and again, just from your gut, because forget what all the data and everything out there, with all the startups being created, what trends do you see, or what sector do you see as having really the most chance for success given today's environment and all the various fields? What area, what sector would you say?
So here's the thing about entrepreneurs is you can tell them what sectors to go after. You can tell them, where the growth and where the trajectories are going to be, and they will absolutely fly in the face of reason and go into, new ways of manufacturing. I think the most exciting thing that's happening right now is in the area of crowdfunding, because one of the number one pain points for entrepreneurs and, even established businesses is that access to capital. And crowdfunding really, it's so interesting and so exciting because it brings the intelligence of the crowd right into your business planning. It's very, very interesting, the intel you can gather on a crowdfunding platform.
And you've had a career very successful writing. What was one of the first business stories you ever wrote?
Oh, my goodness.
When
I started off, I graduated from University of Colorado with a degree in art history and a minor in Italian. So I was kind of limited in what I could do. And I discovered that, having a liberal arts education really gave me, a great gift of knowing how to write, but it also gave me a great way of critically thinking. And so my first business story was actually in Norway, covering a sea launch platform for satellite communications. It was called the Sea Launch, and that was my first business story, and it was a big one.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. How do you know that there's a good story for your magazine?
It is more art than science. Usually the litmus that I use is the people behind the ideas and the aha moment and the sort of the story arc of a business or an idea or somebody who is creating something that has never existed before, but it always goes back to the people and to the leadership and to, kind of the adrenaline junkies that entrepreneurs are. It's always the people.
And you are listening to Eliances Heroes on Money Radio, AM 1510 and FM 99.3. Are you a hero in business? Go to Eliances.com. That's ELIANCES.com. And we have, with Entrepreneur Magazine, Amy Cosper, the managing editor-in-chief. And I got to tell you, I am so excited because for me, this is like talking with Babe Ruth of baseball. And I got to tell you why, because I personally started reading Entrepreneur Magazine when I was around 12 years old, dreaming of having my own business. Fortunate I've been able to start a number of companies because of what I learned in your magazine. While it's always been my dream to be in your magazine, this is better than I could have ever asked for, having an opportunity to actually interview you. So
that's amazing. That is amazing and also inspiring. Thank you for saying that.
And that's one of the things that was on my bucket list. So I got to ask you, you've traveled all over. I've seen your Twitter where you were just in a country, I don't even know where it was, but it looked absolutely amazing and beautiful. What is on your bucket list that you could share with our audience that's something that you haven't done yet?
So here, when people ask me that question, I live my bucket list. I don't have a bucket list. Every day of my life, I get up and do something that I want to do or something that, fills my soul with glee. So I don't really have a list of things I have to check off. I live my life as if it were my last day every single day.
Such inspiration. So if you could have private dinner with any CEO or world leader, who would it be and what would you ask them?
Well, I have dinner every single night with my favorite CEO, and that's my husband, and I like it that way. But if I could sit down with anyone I haven't met yet and who inspires me, I would have to say Elizabeth Gore, who is the entrepreneur in residence at Dell. And I know her, but I've never gotten a chance to spend time with her. She is an inspiration to millions and millions of women around the world. She does work with the UN, and she lives her life making an impact on other people's lives. And I would love to sit down and have dinner with her.
And I bet that's going to happen someday.
I hope so.
Now, you've seen so many different businesses and ideas. What's maybe one of the most interesting businesses you've ever seen?
So my favorite, and I love this story because I was in Denmark a couple of years ago at the Creative Business Cup Challenge, which is this big, giant, startup event that, it's a competition. These kids come and they present and they get money and all of this stuff. And so Denmark, there's have you ever heard of the law of Janta?
No.
So the law of Janta is sort of a Nordic tradition and philosophy that says everybody is equal. Nobody is greater than anyone else. If you are a rusty nail and you pop up out of a board, you will get hammered back down, which also, again, flies in the face of the theories of entrepreneurship. And there is a kid in Denmark, his name is Lasse Andersen, and we did a story on him. He launched this business around his greatest passion, which is porridge. Like, he has a series of storefronts where he sells different kinds of porridge. I mean, the guy is trying to democratize porridge around the world. And I just love him because in a culture that doesn't necessarily celebrate passion, he is one of the most passionate people I've ever met. And the name of his company is Grod, G-R-O-D, porridge.
Amazing. We've got time for one last question. Most valuable lesson that you learned as a child that helped make you be so successful in your career?
Well, I had really great parents, first of all, and they always accepted and championed failure. And, they taught me, I grew up in Texas, and they taught me if you step in a pothole, and you fall over, get up, dust yourself off, and keep going. And, you will fail in life, you will fail at different things. If you take those lessons as something you can carry on and learn from, you will be great. And that's what they taught me. And I've failed plenty of times in my life to know that it's true.
Amy, it has been phenomenal having you on this morning. You could reach Amy Cosper, entrepreneur, managing editor-in-chief at Entrepreneur.com. You can also go to Eliances.com, the place where entrepreneurs align. And thank you again to Christine Jeffries from LoopyDocs.com for producing the Eliances Hero Show. She speaks geek and writes and edits manuals and books. Go to LoopyDocs.com to be able to reach her. And we'll return again next week with new heroes that we'll be interviewing. Thank you again, David Kogan.
You have been listening to Eliances Heroes, where heroes in business align. Eliances is the destination for entrepreneurs, investors, CEOs, inventors, leaders, celebrities, and startups. To present your superpower, visit www.Eliances.com. To unmask Eliances heroes' secret identities, be sure to tune in every Saturday at 8 a.m. right here on Money Radio 1510 and 99.3 FM.